Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge Stories, the Parts of Destinies. Wir waren hier stehen geblieben, unseren inneren Frieden zu finden. Um den Stein im Gleichgewicht zu halten. Achso, den Iblisstein. Da er eventuell ins Ungleichgewicht fallen könnte durch zu viel Leid, Tod, wie auch immer.
Renato wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really long tentacles.
Komisch. Das kennen wir doch schon. Hier waren wir doch schon. Ach, verdammt.
Give me a lever, said Archimedes, and I shall open a gate.
Kämpfe! Nicht! Wie soll ich dich denn ab... Hallo?
This was not going spectacularly well, thought Renato.
Nee, nicht wirklich. Stehst du mit dem richtigen Schwert davor und er sagt immer so, das ist das falsche Schwert. Also wirklich.
This one looked familiar. Had he lost this one in a card game? Welcome back, he thought. Smashing things was fun.
Nicht.
The Iblis Stone, silenced by the Sky Ripper's core, had given Renato enough power to challenge the Imperial fleet. But what Renato was seeking was inner peace. The rebellion was on the verge of extinction, but it would have to wait.
Wir gehen hier die High Road. Ganz oben in den Berg. So.
His mother had never let him wave his sword around at home. He guessed he was still compensating for that.
Endlich können wir mal einen Punkt ausgeben. So, was machen wir denn? Tritt- und Wurfdistanzen. Wertenergie. Ja, da setzen wir mal einen rein.
At the end of the mountain path, he found the wise Calaveras in his workshop. Do you fix souls or only artifacts? He asked the sage.
Does your soul need fixing?
Asked the sage. I've been killing a lot of ravens lately, he told the sage.
You're a fox,
said Calaveras.
To kill birds is part of your nature. Just take joy in it. I mean, I might as well worry about eating flies. Would you like a fly?
It was true. That's what he had forgotten. The joy. Now he was ready for the final battle. The Farfarer cut through the clouds. The air had never felt so sweet since he was a child. There it was. The dreaded Imperial fleet. He could smell wet hemp ropes ahead. Wood and tar and ravens. Even the fleet smelt good, somehow. He was ready. He was ready.
Er war bereit.
Renato had it all squared away in his head. He would kill the Emperor. Isengrim III had begun well, but he had gone mad. He was trying to invoke the lost gods by means of dark, blasphemous rituals. That was a secret. But the victims had spoken to Renato. The ghosts had spoken. No. No anger. Renato could not afford anger. It was empowering the crystal in his sword. That made him stronger, but it clouded his mind. He would not be a hero. A hero strives. Renato would just be one with everything. The Emperor would die, and the wheel would turn, and all would be restored without rancor, without sorrow, without pain. What's behind door number 2?
Das war ja jetzt nicht so viel. Okay. Ah, okay.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
Ist ja noch irgendwas?
But the more he thought about it, and he had so much more time to think about it now that he was not worrying about the battle, killing the Emperor would not change anything. Another would take his place. Perhaps Zenobia. Perhaps the Speaker of the Rebel Council, and power would corrupt them too, and death would make grief, and grief would lead to hatred. He must lead by example. Reject the violence. Reject the desire to create violence. But how?
Ja, wie nur.
Sometimes, Renato really hated inanimate objects.
Nicht weiter draufschlagen. Ja klar, jetzt habe ich ein Level up. Ist kurz vor Ende.
Oh, this really didn't have much in the way of safety features, did it?
Kein Kampf. Auf jeden Fall ein anderer Weg, als wir bisher hatten.
Finally, he came to the Emperor's ship. The path behind him was strewn with dead ravens. The path to enlightenment. His mistake, he realized, was trying to change the world. The world would spin and the wheel would revolve whether he strove against it or not. What he had to do was nothing. He had attained enlightenment. He sat down, adopted a full lotus position, and began to meditate. And all around him, the warriors stopped fighting too. They knew. They could feel his enlightenment. They gave up fighting, dropped their weapons, and became his disciples. No, just kidding. The nearest raven stabbed him with a sword and then chopped off his head. I might not have thought this through properly. Thought Renado's head as it rolled around the deck and died. And
Ach, Quatsch.
just like that, he was alive again, and back on the Farfarer, still fleeing burning Ubar. The book was still open before him. So, the book was a portal. It took you to the future, when your destinies would branch. He had failed and died 3 times, but he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
Rückkehr des Hippies, Story 15. Ah, wie schön. Okay. Wir müssen also noch irgendwie mal...
But he was starting to feel like he was getting the hang of this. There was a way through to victory. He could feel it. He just had to keep running the path of destinies. With that, the book fluttered back to the beginning, and he fell into it. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renado knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renado had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the ravens?
Ja, wir haben jetzt quasi nur die 3 Wege, die wir schon gestartet haben. Und da wir noch irgendwas mit der...
Apparently, the mad rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time.
Ja, den Part kennen wir schon.
But he was out of time.
Auf jeden Fall
Lapino's frantic message
müssen wir den
said
Weg
that the
erstmal
ravens
gehen,
were going
damit
to kill
wir
him for being a rebel
zu...
spy. And that he had a
wie heißt er
clever
nochmal?
plan.
Der
If the fleet
Tochter
reached
des
him
Königs
first,
durchringen
they'd
können.
string
Oder
him up for
Imperator,
that.
wie auch immer.
Never mind the winged horse.
Und
Or so Lapino
dann
had told him over the
irgendwo den
fast speaker anyway.
Story-Part mit ihr freischalten.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the ravens?
Bam!
People
In einem
were
durch.
frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renato had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the ravens caw about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice. Renato hoped his mother wasn't watching. Renato thought of the Iblis stone and shivered. He had no business messing with ancient, cruel artifacts. What he needed was his friends around him. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. He smelled burned fur. His.
Truth was, Renato really liked the sound his sword made in the air.
Also manchmal bist du auch verbuggt. Du Spiel.
Who are you looking at? Oh, right. No one.
Erz, Erz, Erz. Ganz viel Erz. Noch mehr Schwerter, die brauchen wir nicht. Was haben wir hier? Sturmerholung. Du erholst dich von einem dauerhaften Angriff und der Angreifer fällt zu Boden. mehr Schaden.
Every day he was getting better and better.
Moment, da ist noch ein Punkt. Drei. Okay, der ist nicht auf 3. Das brauche ich Minimum 100. Ah, okay.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Ha!
Boy, someone has spent a lot of money for a graduation present.
So. Jetzt gucken wir uns hier noch elementarer Widerstand 2. Mann, da. Toll, oder? Angeblich die Chance auf seltene Beute. 2%. Wisst ihr was? Da hauen wir jetzt den Widerstand rein, was soll's. Scheiß auf den Schatzsucher! Ja, hier komme ich nicht durch. Einmal durch den verwunschenen Brunnen. Ja, toll. Was bringt mir das, hier rauszugehen? Nichts. Aua.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Well, unless he really was a traitor, obviously. Then they'd probably pin a medal on his chest. I wonder what happens if I go that way.
Jawohl. Liebe Zenobia, wie geht es dir an der Akademie? Zweifelsohne wirst du viele neue Freunde gefunden haben. Hier im Palast hat sich nicht viel geändert. Ich habe genügend Zeit für mein spezielles Hobby. Ich arbeite mit Professor Calaveras in seinem Expertenteam zusammen, um die Natur der Inseln zu erforschen. Mein Gefühl sagt mir, dass die Inseln am Leben sind. Ja, ich denke sogar, dass sie ihren eigenen Willen haben. Hörst du mich, meine Tochter? Unsere Welt könnte mehr sein als nur willkürlich umhertreibende Fels- und Wassermassen. Professor Calaveras und sein Team haben Messungen angestellt. Die Inseln driften definitiv. Umgeben von einem endlosen Himmel bemerkt man es nur schwer, aber durch genaue Messungen des Windes über lange Zeiträume haben sie herausgefunden, dass die Inseln sich gen Westen bewegen. Doch wohin? Es könnte Jahrhunderte oder sogar Jahrtausende dauern, bis sie ihr Ziel erreichen. Ich habe diese seltsame Idee. Möglicherweise bilden die Inseln eine Art Herde und suchen bewusst nach einer anderen Inselherde. Kannst du dir das vorstellen? Neue Inseln mit ihren eigenen Bewohnern, der Gedanke, dass wir nicht allein sind. Ich hoffe nur, dass ich lange genug lebe, um dieses Ereignis zu sehen. In Liebe, dein Vater. Oh, könnte sein, dass wir da was dran ändern.
It was definitely easier to fight inanimate objects.
Die Sprüche immer.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia.
We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows. And that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Ja, wir wollen jetzt zu Zenobia.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in Sword Fu school. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was.
She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy.
She won't give them up easily.
She'll tell the interrogators, all right,
said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
So, an dieser Stelle merke ich gerade, dass ich mal wieder überzogen habe. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Bis dahin, schaut in meine anderen Projekte und bis dahin habt viel Spaß. Ciao, ciao.